And these are just some pictures of, kind of complete streets and the sort of planning you want to have. There's people, shops, they're walkable, there's bikes, people can live above the storefronts, they live in the area, walk downstairs. Think about dense urban centers and getting people to move back to the towns and the city centers. This is the Complete Streets. It's National Complete Streets Coalition is the group that focuses on this. And it's all about safety. They talk about making sure that you have sidewalks for pedestrians, for the younger, for the older. By 1930, about 50% of the U.S. population is going to be over the age of 55, and there comes a point where people quit driving and they need to have access, or better, if they don't have walkable neighborhoods to live in, at least public transportation where they have that option. The cost of driving alone, a lot of people pay as much for their car as they do on their home. Mine's more than half of my rent and utilities. And if I could get away from that, that would be amazing. If I had those other alternatives, it saves a lot of people money, allows them to spend their money elsewhere, eases the burden of cost of living. And it just makes economic sense. The complete streets have a tendency to attract businesses. This is where my notes come in. Okay, it attracts businesses. People tend to spend money, or if they're getting off. If you have a transit-oriented neighborhood, people are getting off the train, they're getting off the bus, they can stop in and spend money. If there's a convenience store or a donut shop or coffee shop, think about some of the neighborhoods in New York where the larger trains. Grand Central Station is kind of just like an indoor idea of this whole concept. Improves safety. Bike lanes greatly improves people riding bike. People want to ride bikes. They want to use it as more than just recreation. It is an alternative mode of transportation. And if you provide safe bike lanes, it does increase the number of people who use it. And it also decreases there's a study where the number of people who ride bikes, as that increases, accidents and fatalities tend to go down on those streets. We have an obesity epidemic in this country, diabetes. Get people out. These kind of this thought process, this planning process that orients your urban centers with a mixed transportation system really encourages exercise. You're walking and biking, and it's a healthier solution which can help with your health costs and air quality. We talked about that, and human health. Transit-oriented development, touched on this a little bit. It really is high-density residential mixed with your commercial and areas of employment. You want people to be able to live close to where they work and get out of their car. I mean, we all probably know someone who drives an hour to get to work every day. That would be my nightmare. I got on the freeway to come out here after work. It's like, oh, I'm so glad I don't do this every day. I live within a mile of work, and I do drive, but I walk when I can. If you can place your post office, the traditional services that everybody needs next to those areas of the transportation, it really helps people not to have to, they may commute to work on a train or the bus, but so they don't have to get in their car to run to the post office or run to the bank. If you place all of those around your central transportation hubs, that really helps to also reduce the vehicle miles traveled in your region. I mean, you can't totally eliminate the auto, that's a given. You're going to need your car, everybody's going to need a car, but not every family needs to be a 2 or 3 car family, maybe just one. And you can do this all without really abandoning the true character of your community. There's groups that help you maintain the character, the history. of your community and still kind of move towards these sort of planning. So, you know, increase your transportation choices. Just give people options. Give people the chance to make a choice. It'll reduce congestion, air pollution. These road widening, road costs, like maintenance, we can't afford to maintain a lot of the roads that we have in this state right now, and building more is just really not an option. We need to keep up with what we have. And alternative transportation modes will greatly help that. This is a great website, Urban Advantage. Kind of gives you an idea of how things can change. This is just any old street on an urban neighborhood. Not a whole lot going on, no life to it really. But this is what it can be like. You widen your sidewalks, you provide special lanes for public transportation, add a building, you know, provide residential space mixed with your retail space. And it can vastly change how that area of your community can look. And here's another one. That might even be Euclid, which if you drive down Euclid Avenue today in Cleveland, it's very different. It very much is a multimodal corridor. It's not car friendly at all. And this is what it can look like. There's a light rail line, there's bus lines. It's not so much with the bike lanes, but you've got people, the sidewalks, and mixed land use. So some of the goals that you really want to try to achieve when you're planning your region and trying to plan your transportation with it is just provide as many transportation options as possible to reduce the need for travel. The denser your community is, the more people don't have to leave a 10-mile radius to get anything. You don't have to get into their cars. Minimize duplication of infrastructure. You can keep your parks and your open spaces and not have to pave them over for parking. You know, it'll improve your air quality and really make a difference in how your community feels. And as we talked about at the beginning, not erode your tax base. And this is a final thought. I really like at least the first part of this quote. What matters most about cities and regions are people and places. Transportation is secondary. It's just a means to connect those people and places, and you need to keep that in mind when you're planning your region or redesigning the areas of your community. So here's some great resources. Our website, GreenCityBlueLake Institute, has a fantastic transportation section to it. It was just recently updated by our director, David Beach. He's been working on this for decades. EcoCity Cleveland is our former website. It's not an active one anymore. It's just there with all the resources that were there when he left that organization or closed it. But there's a wealth of resources there as well. And then some of these other groups, Smart Growth America, they focus on that, Center for Transit-Oriented Development. And then there's a few books up there too. But those are wonderful resources if you have any questions about this sort of thing. And feel free to give us a call. My colleague Brad actually serves on the RTA board up there. He's very much interested in public transportation and especially the transit-oriented development potentials for Northeast Ohio, not just Cuyahoga County, but all of Northeast Ohio, connecting the region. So, anybody have questions? Yeah.